The views expressed in this podcast are exclusive to its hosts and do not reflect the views of Dragon Wagon Radio, any of its personnel, or quite frankly, anyone with a fully formed brain. Marky, Xtreme, and Skeeter Skyflyer are not role models. They're not even real. They're idiots, and this show should not be listened to by anyone.
It's hardcore. It's uncensored. It's on your mark with Mark E. Xtreme.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On Your Mark, the only show hosted by a 15-plus year undefeated backyard wrestling champion, Mark Xtreme, that talking all about the wrestling business. So obviously this show ain't no goddamn joke. You hear me? And if anybody looks at me and says, "Hey, Marky, you're a joke," well, you know what I would tell them? I would tell them about all the blood. I'd tell them about all the sweat and all the tears and the shit that I've made and done for this business. And I'm all about the history and the legacy and the lineage of me, Mark E. Xtreme. Today's episode, let's just call it part freaking 2 of the best episode ever. Skeeter's still missing. Don't know where the fuck he is. Don't give a fuck. Last I checked, last week, he texted me right before we were going to start recording and said he fucking got trapped in a well. Apparently, we're back in the 50s in a Lassie episode, and, you know, he might still be down there. He said he enjoyed it. You know, Skeeter is... I'm just going to call a spade a spade and say he's weird. You know, and he, for any grown man that enjoys Chuck E. Cheese as much as he does, then I'm going to just look you right in your face and say, you're weird as fuck. So for all I know, Skeeter could be starting his own goddamn sewer babies in a well. And I wish him the best of luck. And I guess he'll be back whenever he decides to climb his ass out of the well and come back to work. But I'll tell you right now, Skeeter, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you're fired for this week. You're fired for last week. Even though last week was fucking sick for Sweet 2 Live, Wolfpack. No, you're still fired. You know, the show must go on. We still have work to do, and you're supposed to be here. Thank you to Dragon Wagon Radio for hosting this show and keeping it uncensored so I can get all the swears out of my body. Shit ticks. I say that a lot. What else could I say? Cockface. Something like that. I got a lot of swears in me. I got a lot of trauma that I let out on this podcast. This podcast is very therapeutic. This podcast is very fucking therapeutic. This podcast is very therapeutic for me. And, you know, I hope that is very therapeutic for people watching at home. I do hope that, you know, we, by what we do on this podcast, it brings I put a lot of smiles on kids' faces. I hope we touch a lot of children with this podcast. Today's episode, it's all about Cody Rhodes in the WWE. Now let's talk about Cody Rhodes in the WWE. Cody Rhodes, born Cody Garrett Runnels Rhodes. Too many fucking names. I'm going to say it. I say what I say. I say the truth. Not many people got the balls to say it like I say it. I'm calling a spade, and there's too many fucking names. Born Cody Garrett Runnels Rhodes. God dang it. I'm exhausted reading all your names, Cody. On June 30th, 1985. So that means he's a little slightly older than me. And he's done a lot. He's done great for himself, and I'm proud of him. And he's about my age. Cool. He was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. Too young for Charlotte. That's a dumb joke. Take that out. Jake Dragon. Rhodes originally credits his father, Dusty Rhodes, American Dream, baby, for starting his wrestling training when Cody was only 12 years old. However, Cody was limited to mainly simple fundamentals like taking bumps. And you know what? I'm going to say this now too. Dusty, I think you fucked up your training with your boy. I have a wrestling school, Backyard Wrestling Academy. We teach the fundamentals on day one. Chair shots is the first thing we teach. And we don't move on from that until I feel it necessary. Whether I feel like the person taking the chair shot is done being a little bitch, either the blood stops pouring or they wake up from their concussion nap. One of the three things. But, Cody, I think you maybe should have started with fundamentals, but who am I to say, I'm only a Hall of Famer in backyard wrestling entertainment. However, this training was limited to only simple fundamentals, like I said, taking bumps. From there, his training was provided by Al Snow. What does everybody want? I want some fucking head. Something like that. Danny Davis, Randy Orton, and Ricky Morton. Using his birth name Cody Runnels, Rhodes began wrestling in Ohio Valley Wrestling in May 2006. His first match was at an OVW live event in Cardigan, Indiana on May 13th, where he lost to Pat Buck. Wow, Cody, you lost your first match, you fucking loser. I'm just saying, man, if you're watching this, hey, maybe don't go out there and, when this is your first impression in the wrestling business, don't lose your first match. Ever since my first match, I've been undefeated. In my own company. Yes. Those are semantics. Just saying, maybe your career, you might be in a different place in your career if you would have started winning from the beginning. In OVW, Cody formed a tag team with Shawn Spears in mid-August 2006, and they quickly became embroiled in a feud with the Untouchables over the OVW Southern Tag Team Championships. They first captured the championships from the Untouchables on October 18th. In November 2006, Runnels and Spears defeated the Untouchables in a tag team match and won the services of Cherry. The Untouchables manager. Cherry accompanied Spears and Runnels to ringside, and soon Spears began to fall in love with her, which began interfering with their matches. Never mix business with pleasure. I'm going to say it again for the kids in the back. Never mix business with pleasure, people. It never works. Take it from me. I enjoy a lot of things in life. I enjoy the fruits of the world. My girlfriend's Tammy's Pootie. Okay, we're doing good right now. Okay? So I'm enjoying that. Again, Twinkies. Nothing weird. I don't fuck Twinkies, so don't stop tweeting me that shit. And I enjoy various lotions. I take my skin health seriously. But I learned my lesson and I won't bring those things to work ever again. Okay? I brought all those into the ring many times. Didn't get the right reaction. I experimented. I'm a trailblazer. But I realized I can't mix business with pleasure. Maybe another what if in this instance. What if you didn't incorporate Cherry and maybe she was hot as hell? I haven't looked her up. But with a name like Cherry, I'm assuming she's fucking hot as hell. But maybe if you wouldn't have incorporated her into your mix, you guys still could be OVW Tag Team Champions. Just saying. I mean, we've seen it time and time again in wrestling. Fucking Pootie's tempting, man. I'll be the first to tell you. I have dated over 34 Tammys that work at Applebee's. I'm like a fucking magnet. I'm like a Pootie magnet, specifically with women named Tammy at Applebee's. I can't control myself. It's something about the total package. Not Lex Luger. The total package of a woman, fucking hot as hell-ish, named Tammy, working at Applebee's. Yes, the pros of getting free fucking chicken tenders on a daily basis is a huge part of it. But I don't know. It's like the fucking vibe. Walking in there and she's all in a uniform and just the fucking smell that she brings home from Applebee's just gets me going, man. Give me that Applebee's Pootie, Shortly after, Runnels and Spears became involved in a scripted rivalry with each other after Spears became jealous of Runnels' success as a singles wrestler. This rift started when Runnels won the OVW Heavyweight Championship from Paul Burchill at a house show on February 17th, 2007, only to lose it to Burchill the next day. I mean, I think fucking anybody could beat fucking Paul Burchill. Not Toll Ride, not saying it. Anybody could beat Paul Burchill. He's a freaking pirate. Okay, Paul Burchill, stay in your fucking lane. Or waters, whatever. So I probably just offended a fucking pirate out there. Does that offend pirates now? Pronouns. It's 2022, Mark. Oh, you can't say stay in your lane to a pirate. You gotta say stay in your fucking waters. Whatever. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I never try to offend anybody. Motherfucker, I could beat Paul Burchill's ass. He's a fucking pirate. I'm a wrestler. I don't fucking swing swords around. I swing my pecker around. Remember when fucking Paul Burchill and him and his sister were all weird and shit? Well, I do, because I had the opportunity to interview his sister a few years back when we sat in the backyard, and here's a From the Vault interview with my interview with Katie Lee Burchill, Katie Lee Waters.
From the vault.
Have you ever met John Cena?
Yes.
That guy just, it's the epitome of just there's a category with worst wrestler ever, he'd be at the top of it. Wouldn't you think?
Methinks that perhaps you'd be jealous.
You know what my finishing move is?
What's your finishing move?
I take a steel chair and I hit a guy 25 times.
From the vault.
Well, there you have it. It's clear, obviously, that Catalina Waters has the hots for me. She always has. Always will. Jumping ahead, on July 2nd, 2007 episode of WWE Monday Night Raw, Runnels made his television debut using his wrestling family's last name, Rhodes, in a backstage segment with his father, Dusty Rhodes, and Randy Orton, where Orton introduced himself to Rhodes and then slapped Dusty as a sign of disrespect. On July 9th, Rhodes slapped Orton in return, and the following week, Rhodes was defeated by Orton in his debut WWE match. Rhodes appeared at the Great American Bash to prevent Orton from further attacking his father, and the next night on Raw, Rhodes challenged Orton to a rematch from the previous week, only to lose it again. Orton followed this up by kicking Rhodes' father in the head. You better hope that I don't find out that I'm not Marky Rhodes. For all those of you that don't know, my mom banged a wrestler in the 80s, and my dad, if he's still alive, could still be out there. But there's likely a chance that she doesn't remember who she banged, but there's likely a chance it could be Dusty Rhodes. I could be Marky Rhodes, you know? And if I find that out, you know, I'm going to kick your ass, Cody. I'm going to kick your ass for this, because if you punted my dad, I'm going to be pissed. Okay? And if Dusty Rhodes isn't my dad, then you know what? I get it, because I have some fucking daddy issues too. But if you punt my dad, I'm going to kick your ass. But when I see my real dad, I'm probably going to punt him too. Just because, fuck, man. I did. Sorry, 1 second. I never, I'm going to just have all this taken out of the podcast. 3, 2, 1. Pick it up when I've got my shit together. Bacon Boy at Dragon Wagon. I just fucking have so much fucking shit and anger built up because of not having a dad. And he's out there somewhere, probably gallivanting, probably fucking banging other Tammys or other. Yes, my mom's name's Tammy too. It's not weird. But you know, he deserves an ass whooping when I see him, and then we'll tag. We'll be tag team after that. 3, 2, 1. Let's start this back. Get your shit together, Mark. At Night of Champions 2008, Rhodes turned on his tag team partner at the time, Hardcore Holly, by revealing himself as Ted DiBiase's partner to help DiBiase win the match and become the two-time world tag team champion. After holding the championship for just over a month, they dropped it to John Cena. It's me choking on fucking wiener. I don't know how that sounds or how to actually do that, so don't fucking make this weird. After they dropped it to John Cena and Batista on the August 4th, 2008 episode of Raw. The following week on Raw, DiBiase and Rhodes used their rematch clause to regain the championship. Rhodes and DiBiase were joined by Manu and Afa. Manu and the son of Afa in September, forming the stable of multi-generational wrestlers. You know, I've said it before, and I said it again. I wish I was Samoan. You know, there's for many reasons, but one, I'd get asked to join cool stables like this. I would be able to get cool tattoos. I'm tough. I'm pretty fucking tough, but I'd be way more tough if I was Samoan. Got that fucking island strength. All that spam and shit. God dang, I wish I was Samoan. One day, Mark. On the November 3rd, 2008 episode of Monday Night Raw, Rhodes and DiBiase and Manu entered a storyline with Randy Orton, who constantly criticized and insulted them and attacked DiBiase. At Survivor Series, Rhodes, along with Orton, was a survivor for Orton's team in the annual elimination match. Rhodes and Manu accepted Orton's offer for an alliance in the following weeks, and the trio dubbed themselves The Legacy. Debuting in a 2-on-3 handicap match against Batista and Triple H, Orton began scheduling tests for the Legacy members so they could prove themselves. And over the next 2 weeks, both Manu and Simi Snuka were kicked out. Okay. When I go to WWE, when Marky Xtreme goes to WWE and it's revealed that either Stone Cold is my dad or The Rock or, you know, Dusty or whoever it is or some other cool shit like that, I think I think I want to form a legacy, a group similar to Legacy. I mean, what all these guys had in common is, you know, they were descendants of wrestlers. What I have in common with some other wrestlers is I got a cool first name. So it could, you know, I'm spitballing here, but this is what I do best. I'm a creative fucking genius. The trio would be led by me, Marky Xtreme. You'd also have Mark Calloway. Undertaker retired. He can still be Mark Calloway. And Mark frickin' Henry. And you know what we'd call ourselves? The fucking birthmarks. We're marks from birth because we're all born with a badass name like Mark. And I think that's all you need. You need a reason to form a stable for about. You know, Mark Miro can go fuck himself, though, because he spells his name weird, and I don't like it. You hear me, Mark Miro? Go fuck yourself, because you spell your name funny, and it scares me. What are you up to? What are you fucking hiding? Tension within the Legacy became apparent at the 2010 Royal Rumble when Rhodes attempted to interfere in Orton's match for the WWE Championship. Rhodes was caught by the referee, resulting in a disqualification for Orton, who attacked Rhodes, and DiBiase, who tried to help Rhodes after the match. On the February 15th Raw, Orton took on Sheamus in a non-title rematch, but was again disqualified after Rhodes and DiBiase interfered. During the WWE Championship match at the Elimination Chamber, match pay-per-view, fucking shit. During the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match pay-per-view, Jesus Christ, WWE, simplify your shit. Rhodes interfered, passing a lead pipe through the cage to DiBiase, and DiBiase hit Orton with the pipe and eliminated him from the match. The next night on Raw, Orton attacked Rhodes and DiBiase during a 6-man tag match, and then they attacked Orton the following week in retaliation, this leading them to a triple threat match at WrestleMania WrestleMania 26, in which Orton defeated Rhodes and DiBiase. Okay, seriously, someone just needs to fucking say this. What is wrong with Randy Orton? Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase were a part of his group. Did Hollywood Hogan get pissed when the NWOites ran down there and tried to help him? Hell no, they were for life too sweet. You know, and if you really... Randy Orton, if you really hear voices in your head, then, bro, go get some fucking therapy. Okay? You're affecting the people around you. You ruined a fucking kick-ass stable because you couldn't keep your shit together. Stables are supposed to run down and interfere and fuck up matches. It's what they're all about. Randy Orton, you need to start taking your mental health seriously. Okay, maybe fucking give the same attention to your brain muscles as you do all your other hot ass muscles in your body. And you wouldn't hear voices then. Take some goddamn ginkgo biloba or whatever the fuck it is. Jesus. If you don't want to take ginkgo biloba, take Mark E. Xtreme's Talent Enhancement Gummies. Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is proudly sponsored by Mark E. Xtreme's Talent Enhancement Gummies. You know, you got all these wrestlers out there. You got The Rock slinging an energy drink. You got Ryback pumping fucking all natural fucking pre-workout into your veins. Well, I tell you what, there is nothing that's going to get you in more energized. There's nothing that's going to give you a better fucking pump in all parts of your body than Mark E. Xtreme's Talent Enhancement Gummies. We have an FDA approval pending. It's been fully transparent here. It's been fucking rejected several times, but you know what? You know what they say? Fucking, it's not a marathon. It's a sprint, and I'm gonna keep submitting for FDA approval. But you can order them now. Call my mom Tammy. We've got about 6 bottles left. And fuck, I've never had a better workout in my life. And you won't either if you get Mark E. Xtreme's Talent Enhancement Gummies. On the June 25th SmackDown, Raw... God dang it. Fucking do it again, Mark. On the June 25th... On the June 25th SmackDown, Rhodes began a new narcissist gimmick, claiming to be the best-looking wrestler in WWE and demanded to be called Dashing Cody Rhodes. Well, until Mark E. Xtreme shows up, you can call yourself that. As part of the new gimmick, vignettes began airing in which Rhodes gave grooming tips. He was extremely protective of his face during matches. If he was hit in the face, he threw a fit and checked his mirror. You know, I get it. True, real talk. I do the same thing anytime I take a pecker shot. I have a pristine pecker, and I got to make sure that it stays in pristine and perfect condition. All the rest of my body is a beaten, battered piece of meat, but fuck. I got to keep my pecker strong. So I get it. I do the same thing. Anytime I take a pecker shot, I say, hold up a fucking second. And I can do that because I own the company. I say, everybody, hold up a fucking second. I pull my pants down. If there's kids, I say, look away. Turn your head. If you're over 18, you can look at it. It's fucking probably will help men feel better about themselves. Men want to be me. Girls want to date me. That whole thing. But I pull it down. I give it a quick check. I give it a quick, you know, give it a quick. If I feel something happening, I do it until I feel something happening, and then I continue the match. You got to take care of yourself out there. Yeah, you know, what we do is crazy. What we do is hardcore extreme, you know. Cody Rhodes out there putting his body on the line. I do it on a nightly basis. But we got to take care of ourselves. We saw, sadly, Big E broke his neck recently. That's happened to me multiple times. Got to take care of ourselves. Very physical business, but you still got to look out for your body. On January 21st, 2011, Rhodes faced Rey Mysterio in a match which Rey Mysterio hit Rhodes in the face with his exposed knee brace and legitimately broke Rhodes' nose, which led to Rhodes declaring he was no longer dashing and had required facial reconstructive surgery. Rhodes was off television for several weeks, and upon his return, he wore a clear protective face mask over his face and colluded with his father to attack Mysterio and removed Mysterio's mask on February 25th SmackDown. Rhodes then regularly used his protective mask as a weapon during his matches, that's pretty sick, by headbutting his opponents and using it to hit his opponents. Okay, Cody, I know that you hurt yourself. It happens to the best of us. Do I think it was a sissy move that you got surgery, facial reconstructive surgery? Yeah, I do. I've been in this business 15 plus years. I've had more injuries than I can count. I lost my leg in a match. Have I had surgery? Not once. I guess you call it official surgery. I do have a back alley surgeon that I go to, gives me a hell of a price on fucking quick fix me ups, but I've never been to a fucking hospital. A fucking real doctor. But I'm fine. I'm still out there kicking ass and taking names. I think wrestlers these days need to be more tough. And I know going back on Big E, he says he doesn't have to get surgery. That's fucking awesome. Do I think that maybe he did need it and he said, no, I'm a tough motherfucker? Probably. Because Big E's not a sissy. Big E's tough as fuck. He probably turned down broke neck surgery. Rhodes then aligned himself with Damian Sandow, attacking the tag team champions Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane, on September 24th Raw, and vowing to become the next champions. The team, now known as our Rhodes Scholars, would never go on to win the tag team titles. Who gives a shit? On July 14th at WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Rhodes competed in the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match, which was won by Damian Sandow after Sandow turned on Rhodes and threw him off the ladder just as Rhodes was about to win the match. The following night on Raw, Rhodes attacked Sandow and dissolved Team Rhodes Scholars, turning face for the first time since 2008. I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion on all this. If I was Damian Sandow, I'd probably done the same fucking thing. He's probably like, Cody, you got facial reconstructive surgery. You're a bit of a sissy. You've punted your dad in the head before. Didn't like that. He might not like to some of Cody Rhodes' past choices. Like I don't. But luckily, Cody Rhodes wouldn't be a part of WWE much longer. But somebody else would, because on June 16th Raw, Rhodes debuted a new character called Stardust, a name that was previously used by his father during his time in American Wrestling Association. He had face paint, a fucking sick bodysuit, and mannerisms similar to those of Goldust. He teamed with his brother to defeat Rob Axel that night, and then at both Money in the Bank and on Raw. On August 18th Raw, Stardust and Goldust defeated the WWE Tag Team Champion, the Usos, in a non-title match. This led to a rematch on the August 25th Raw, where Stardust and Goldust defeated the Usos via countout, but again did not win the titles. And then, after the match, both Stardust and Goldust attacked the Usos. At Night of Champions, Stardust and Goldust finally defeated the Usos to become the WWE Tag Team Champions for their second reign as a team. Oh, hey, Vince McMahon. I'm wrestling royalty. Take me seriously. Hell no. I'm going to put you in goddamn shiny spandex, face paint, call you asshole boy. Is probably what would happen to me. Pretty much what happened to Cody Rhodes. Now, do I think that fucking Stardust was a sick gimmick? Hell yes. Any wrestler that has painted his face is sick. I fucking love face paint. But I get why fucking soon after this, Cody Rhodes, Stardust left the WWE. Full body spandex like that sucks. I have tried it. I've worn it in private. And it doesn't breathe. It's fucking like a goddamn sauna. I take it off and there is a fucking puddle. Fucking puddle of mud, baby. Everything's so blurry. And fucking, it's gross. I have to throw them out. The smell. Imagine wrestling in that shit. I couldn't do it. I don't know how he did it. He was forced to by Vince McMahon. And I get it. The Stardust character eventually evolved to resemble a comic book supervillain, which led him entering a storyline rivalry with actor Stephen Amell. After confronting Amell on the May 25th Raw, Stardust renamed his finishing maneuver the Queen's Crossbow after Oliver Queen, Amell's character from Arrow. After taking a brief hiatus following the death of his father, Stardust returned on the July 13th Raw, defeating Neville and starting a new rivalry between the two. Stardust then went on a winning streak, defeating the likes of R-Truth, Zack Ryder, and Fandango. He attacked Neville following his match with King Barrett, and also attacked guest star Stephen Amell, leading to Amell attacking Stardust. And at SummerSlam, Stardust and Barrett were defeated in a tag team match by Amell and Neville. I don't know how you would let a dumb ass actor beat your ass, Cody. He's a fucking actor. Fuck actors. Don't try to come in my business and try to become the wrestler. Fucking looking at you, Logan Paul. Fucking Bad Bunny. I do think it's sick Johnny Knoxville is fucking a part of wrestling right now. I love Jackass. But there's some of them I don't like for my personal reasons. Okay? You know something I do like for my personal reason? On Your Mark podcast exclusive t-shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we have a pro wrestling tee store, but you can only find our podcast exclusive merch at one place. And that's by going and marching your happy ass right now on over to OnYourMarkShow.com. There you'll find all kinds of great merch like the podcast t-shirt. You can get mugs, masks, all kinds of things. If you get one of the fucking Toll Ride shirts, I'm gonna lose my shit. Hey, and if you don't like Pootie, get one of the Toll Ride t-shirts. You can find all this and more, all of our exclusive podcast merch right now at OnYourMarkShow.com. At WrestleMania 32, Stardust competed in a 7-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, which was won by Zack Ryder. Soon thereafter, Zack Ryder would throw a toddler tantrum when his fucking own father tried to put a cowboy hat on him. Go back and watch it. It's fucking weird. Zack Ryder is a man baby, created the Cardona virus, and plays with fucking toys, and probably wants to turn his wife, hot-ass Chelsea Green, into a fucking toy so he can play with her with an Indian in the cupboard magic box. Post-WrestleMania, Stardust lost to Apollo Crews 4 times on television, which was followed by a loss to Zack Ryder on the May 20th episode of Superstars. And on May 21st, 2016, Rhodes revealed on Twitter that he had requested his release from the WWE, which was officially granted the following day. Rhodes cited frustrations with WWE's creative department and his position within the company as the reasons for requesting his release, noting that he had pleaded with writers to end the Stardust gimmick for over 6 months and pitched numerous storyline ideas which had been ignored. We know what happens after this, and we'll likely be dissecting it in a future podcast where, he goes off to the Indies and, of course, goes off to the AEW. But the question we need to ask ourselves, and the question I am asking myself, is, was this a good move for Cody? Okay. At the time of this recording, he might already be back in WWE. According to the dirt sheets, David Meltzerman, Bill Raptor, that's the rumor. And like I said, at the time of this recording, he could already be back. But Cody Rhodes leaves WWE, starts a company, then leaves to join his own competition? Fucking weird. I, Marky Xtreme, 15 plus years ago, formed my own company in backyard wrestling entertainment. Do you think that if the WWE came knocking on my door, offering me a straight to WrestleMania match with a boatload of cash, I'd take it? Yeah, I'd probably take it. I'd probably fucking take it. Real talk, I'd probably fucking abandon everything I've done. I'd probably abandon everything I've created and all the people that I've created beautiful lives for. And would that be a hard decision? Not really, but I would think about it for a little bit. I'd think about all the people's families I'm keeping roofs over their backyards and food on their table. Because I think about those things when I fall asleep at night. Not that long, but I think about them. And that would weigh on my shoulders a little bit. And then, you know what? I would immediately start thinking about all the cool shit that I would buy with all that money. I'd fucking buy a jet ski ASAP. I would leave Tammy in a fucking heartbeat. Bacon Boy at Dragon Wagon, take this out so she doesn't hear it. I mean, I don't think she fucking listens to this podcast anyways, but take it out. I would get a hot ass WWE diva finally as a wife for me. Either Nia Jax. I know she's not with the company anymore, but either Nia Jax, goddamn Mandy Rhodes. Whew. Gosh, there's so many hotties in the WWE. I'd start a wife and a family with all them. With one of them, maybe more. I don't know. And then I would go to WrestleMania. And I would give all of you the best damn WrestleMania you've ever seen. Cody Rhodes might do the same. Who am I to say? But he left, potentially, at the time of recording, he potentially left a company he created to go back to his competition. Insane. Never say never in this business. The show must go on. And this show must go on too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for part 2 of the best episode ever, where we have been dissecting Cody Rhodes in the WWE. I want to thank Dragon Wagon Radio for hosting this show, where you can check out other shows like the Pro Wrestling Powskis, Me, You, and 30 Other Men, which sounds super fucking sexy. I got to check that out. And many, many more. Want to give a special congratulations to the 5-year, call me when you hit 15 plus years, bud. The 5-year anniversary to Dragon Wagon Radio. Happy birthday. Buy me a fucking cake. Be sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts, where you can rate and review the show. A little birdie has told me that Santa Claus is going to be giving out a free t-shirt soon to one of the ratings and reviews that you give us over at our Apple Podcast store. Real talk, guys, if you've been listening to this podcast and you haven't given a rating and review, first of all, it takes like 2 to 3 minutes. Get off your ass. March your happy ass on over. It's the least you can do. Okay, I've been bleeding, sweating, shitting, and tearing over here for years now on this podcast. The least you could do is go give him a rating and review, and you might get a free t-shirt soon. Also, be sure to check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/OYM show, where you can get this podcast, or where you got this podcast early, and you get many other exclusive things like exclusive skid mark t-shirts. You can get a freaking sick ass replica belt, not the real Backyard Wrestling Entertainment Championship, but definitely a replica belt that I hand make and sign and personalize to you, and so much more. But one of the most valuable perks that you get on a weekly basis is a shout out on the On Your Mark Wrestling podcast. And the shout outs this week are as follows: Crab Stamper, Kevin Hirth, Bruce Harmeyer, Melissa Mayette, Jason Kay, Tim Redbeard, Rick Conley, Mr. Blix, and Miguel Diaz. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the skid marks that keep the roof over the backyard and the food on the table before I body slam motherfuckers through it. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, you can be a part of that Plus Legis list. And if you want to be a part of a club that's two sweeter than the Bullet Club and more for life than the NWO, then right now, stop what you're doing and march your happy ass on over to patreon.com/OYM show. In closing, with Cody Rhodes potentially now being back in the WWE, we can all breathe a sigh of relief and put our hands together like this. I think it's how he did it. Because it's only a matter of time before Stardust comes back. I can't fucking wait. Now, just Vince, for the love of God, we all ask, just put some fucking air holes in the suit for the poor kid, you know, around the gooch, around the asshole, something. Gotta let the boy breathe. Let the shit drain out. Kids will understand it. Don't worry about it. You've had weirder fucking slips on the WWE. If Cody Rhodes' pecker pops out of a Stardust hole, just make it a part of his character. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. Maybe Skeeter will be back. I don't fucking know. If not, you will definitely at least get a sick On Your Mark podcast with Mark E. Xtreme. I'll see you next time. I got to go take a shit.
Dragon Wagon.